Okay, now let's cross our fingers, knock on wood, and hope that what we're about to do is going to work. We have our Beer With segment guest with us on Skype. Today we are going to be hanging out with a good friend of mine, Dan Moyers, who works for Grayson Subaru. As many of you all know, Grayson Subaru has been a huge partner of Knox Brew Tours and the craft beer community, has done a lot in the community to make a big impact. We're going to talk just a little bit about that, but mostly we're going to talk about a lot of the really cool stuff that they're doing that's coming up, as well as myself, that they're allowing us to do, including something called a whale auction, which you may wonder what that is. All right, let's see here. I think I've got Dan live. Dan, let's do a quick sound check. You there, bud?
I'm here as far as I know.
Yay!
Kevin, can you hear Dan?
I can.
I can hear. Hopefully our listeners at home can. Several of you are friends with Mama Calls Me Kevin and I on Facebook. I'm sure you'll let us know very quickly if this is not coming through the airwaves.
Yes, please do.
Dan, how are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good, guys. How are you all?
We're doing good. We're just happy to still be doing this show and really excited to be hanging out and talking with you on there today. So we talked a little bit about that you work at Grayson Subaru, and a lot of people are probably really curious, why is a Knoxville beer show talking to a gentleman that works at a car dealership? And I want to really break this down because you all have done a really great job of reaching out into the community and making Knoxville a better place to live and a better place to be. And I want to mention some of the ways that you all are doing that, including what you all are doing to help out Knoxville beer. So help people understand how Grayson Subaru fits into what we're doing here.
Okay, so I guess the first place we should start is, why the heck a car dealership would be mixing with alcohol, right? That's the big one, and that's the one I get a lot. And there's a couple reasons for that. One is kind of a selfish, capitalistic pig side where, the local beer scene, craft lovers are actually the best demographic for Subaru. They love all the same things the Subaru owners and drivers love. Actually, many demographics a lot that way too. Very similar. So that's the capitalistic side of that answer. But the other side is, we also know there's a lot of people in the Knoxville beer scene, not even just in the breweries, but breweries and fans who are doing great things in Knoxville, for our local Knoxvillians, and we want to support their endeavors as well.
And you do that. Some amazing examples of that in and around the beer world is the farmers market, the summer and winter's market. You guys are a big supporter of that. This past couple of years, Sunset on Central, which is a great event that featured local music. You guys have sponsored our Knox Brew Tours anniversary party every year, which has been a complete, a really, really good time. Let's just say there were memories and lack of memories at those events for sure. Tennessee Winter Beer Fest, which I know is a personal favorite of Mama Calls Me Kevin.
Yes, love it.
What else? Well, here, let's get down to this Brewer Relief Fund 2020, because we've been talking about COVID-19 and for the last 3.5 weeks, how it's impacting the beer community. There's been a lot of negative news, a few positive stories, and this is definitely one of those positive stories. And the story begins with Knoxville Warm Up. Tell us how Knoxville Warm Up has turned into this whale auction and what your involvement with it has been.
Okay. Knoxville Winter Warm Up was an event last year. You might remember it. It was on Gay Street. I always have a hard time remembering the name of the building.
It's the Emporium.
Thank you, the Emporium. It holds about 500 people. And Landon Linton and Scott Crammond wanted to put on a new beer event that would be different. It had art involved in it. It was a raging success. 500 people showed up, sold every ticket. I actually ran out of beer in the last 30 minutes. That's always a good sign that you did things right and you were popular. But from there, fast forward to this year, you have COVID that's taken over everything. We were actually past the date that Winter Warm Up, or Warm Up as it's called now, just Knoxville Warm Up as it's called now. We're actually past the date it would have actually happened because of COVID. So Landon and Scott are trying to think of ideas. What can we do to pay back the community that was so good to us last year? And we know we're going to be teammates with in the following years. At the same time, other people were having other great ideas. You were having great ideas, Zach. And one person named Melissa Carter was having a really good idea. And her idea was, they're looking at their own beer section at their home. I should say Melissa is Randy's wife, who is our Subaru manager. Well, Melissa was looking at their own beer cave at their house. They're going, you know what? We have all these beers that are duplicates. Why doesn't somebody do an auction and take that money from the auction and put it towards however it can help the beer community, be it through CABA, be it just handing a certain amount to every brewery, whatever the case may be. So
and just to clarify on that, what he's referring to are called whales. And most people don't know the expression whale if you're not hardcore in the beer community. A whale sort of is a reference to the novel Moby Dick, this idea that he was trying to find this whale that's really hard to find thing. So a whale in the beer community is an older or harder or rare beer that people will sometimes age in their beer cellars for years. And so she was looking at these whales and thinking, how can we come up with something cool to benefit our community positively? And what did you all come up with?
Well, the long and short of it is there's a whole lot of electronics involved. There's not much heavy lifting. The first auction, Scott Crammond did almost all of the data entry. And Scott, you get a big high five for that, a big cheers for that. But there was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. What modes of electronic transportation are we going to use to make this happen? Lots of little things on the backside. Jordan and Cabo were involved too, Jordan Skeen. Of course, Zach, you were heavily involved the last evening doing all of our auctioning for us. Oslo was involved too. But, it all came together pretty easily. It went off without a hitch pretty much the first time, which is amazing. It could have been an abject failure. I shouldn't say it should have been. It could have been a failure. It was not, thank God. So, our goal was to do $1,200 measly dollars. We went over $2,000 on the first one.
Yeah, it was almost $2,200 on the first auction. So tell us, and that was so cool. It was 2 hours of chaos and pandemonium, and we were giving away stuff that wasn't originally listed. Some of it was funny. We gave away a giant Heineken, that's 5-liter Heineken. We auctioned off a roll of toilet paper. We were able to raise $11 additional with that toilet paper roll. Hey. And then some whales were added in the middle of that last little bit. So it's sort of like a little whale blitz, if you will. So the next auction, there's going to be another one coming up. When is that auction taking place, and where can people find it?
Okay. So it's kind of the same setup. If you're not familiar at all, I'll take the absolute from the beginning to end approach. But it's going to be a lot like last week or 2 weeks ago. Auction number 2, it will start April 18th at 1 p.m. So that's this Saturday at 1 p.m. You can start bidding on beers. That's key because you get in early and you get established, and you may end up getting a beer for a lot cheaper than you should. That's not the goal, mind you. But it starts April 18th at 1 p.m. The online auction where you're on TV or on YouTube, Zach, will be 7 to 9 p.m. on the 19th, and that's when
it'll all end at 9, right?
It ends at 9. We'll be breaking down. Zach will be breaking down the beers. Scott helped some a little bit last time. There may be some other people involved this time as well. But the link for the Facebook live stream is facebook.com/Knoxville Warm Up /live. We do not have the YouTube live stream up yet. We will have that later in the week. Let everybody know via every Facebook way possible. And if you're wanting to donate to these donations, the place to donate beers or other cool stuff like big rolls of toilet paper is knoxwarmup.com/whales.
knoxwarmup.com/whales. That's awesome. Hey, another really cool thing that we have to mention is something that we're doing with Knox Brew Tours that, again, is brought to you by you all. And, again, thank you for your continued support. But this week we're doing the Knox County Beer Run, where you can order beer from 5 of our downtown breweries, and we're going to load up the brew bus and bring it to you on Saturday. And that's just another really cool example of how our brewing community is coming up with some really interesting and creative ideas, like the pretentious box that we talked about before. And Crafty's delivering beer, but it comes with a songgram. A Dean, who's a local artist, will deliver the beer and sing you a song, which I think is really, really cool. Kevin, what are are there any other things you can think of that are cool? This Thursday, Last Days of Autumn is doing the Little Sausage Fest.
Yes, I just got the message about that today. And, it's not the same big sausage fest that we've, had in the past. But, we've been told that size doesn't matter.
Yes.
So a slightly smaller sausage fest this year, this Thursday.
I think they're doing 3 types of sausage and encouraging people to order ahead of time, as it will sell out like it normally always does.
You can also, here again, while supplies last, order bulk. You can get like bulk sausage, and there's another option that includes like some sides and that sort of thing, like a family sauce. Sausages for everyone. If you can have your own sausage party at home. So,
your own sausage fest at home.
Yeah. So, it's a great thing. You can check out the Last Days Facebook page for those details.
Yeah. Another really cool thing is the local love box, which, Dan, have you done any of these local love boxes?
I'll tell you what, I really do appreciate what Garrett and all those guys are doing. I'm not sure who all's involved. Garrett actually sent me an invite to it, so I know Garrett Thompson's involved. But I love all of those ideas. I have not done one yet. I'm going to definitely do the pretentious one, simply because I've seen what's shown up in some of those boxes, and I'm like, really? Just giving away those things, basically? Wow.
Same here.
So I definitely am going to do some.
Yeah, I agree. They're definitely really unique, and something really special. We're the creativity right now is overflowing, and some of that is from a necessity to try to continue to make things work. And I really hope that some of these things stick around. I'd love to see the ability to order beer online. I'd love to see a lot more to-go options and streamlining some of those things and using different technologies. I know personally today I had a meeting that lasted about 8 minutes. It was a Zoom call. I was wearing sweatpants, and I was thinking, normally this would have taken an hour of my day to get in the car, drive somewhere, meet them, drive home. And so the efficiency on that was kind of interesting as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What, Dan, as a beer consumer and a lover of Knoxville craft beer, what has the experience been like for you as far as getting your hands on our local breweries and continuing to support them?
I gotta say, to be able to, first of all, the crowlering process. We could all get crowlers or growlers filled pretty much anywhere before, but now you can get it filled. You can get them pretty much anywhere. On top of that, you have people like, of course, Zack and Knox Brew Tours delivering. You have Ratchet delivering out of a Fanatic, and now Ratchet's literally their Facebook page is literally saying, "Okay, who's next? Which zip code's next?" And
I love that.
Those votes.
Yeah,
it's going to get delivery from Fanatic.
Yep.
I think it's a pretty cool concept.
It really is.
I had actually got delivered beer from Crafty West, and that was a great experience. And Dean did a great job, Captain Redbeard. He'll let you pick a song, hopefully beforehand, so he knows what he's playing when he gets there. There was a little snafu in their delivery to me simply because I was at work at the time, and I realized somebody showing up at my place of business bringing me beer and a song might not be a good idea. But they made it work, and I let him pick a song, and he picked a great song. It worked a little bit better than Kevin's ability to record audio, actually. So,
hey, but with this great new technology, imagine we could do something like this from the privacy of our own homes and just record it and everything. That would be great. Yeah. All we need is someone to push the record button.
So, full disclosure, because that's how we roll here at Knox on Tap. This is the second time we've interviewed Dan, as we had a few technical difficulties with this yesterday. Yesterday, we were not in the studio, and we were all drinking a beer together. Now, since Mama Calls Me Kevin and I are in the studio, Dan is the lucky one drinking the beer at home. So, Dan, I have two very important questions for you. Question number one, What song did Captain Redbeard perform for you when he made his delivery?
I knew you were going to ask me that question. Dang it. It's actually an original. It's his. You know exactly what I'm going to say next. It's about Asheville and about somebody that came from a smaller city near Asheville, Boone, as a matter of fact. And they made the mistake of stopping and eating dinner in Asheville. And you can imagine going from Boone, somebody that's never been to Asheville, and having dinner and the craziness that Asheville can be. That's what the song's about. If you've never heard it, make him play it. It's great. That was the song.
Awesome. Okay, and my second question is, what beer are you drinking right now?
Well, thanks, Zach. Thanks. I'm not, but I am. What I am doing with this glass is I'm changing the koozie, which you might have noticed about every sip I've taken. So I'm pimping local businesses while you're talking about local businesses. So this is Balter's turn. So far we've done. Let's see. We've done Casual Pint. We've done Fox and Fogarty. That's for you, Scott. We've done Balter. We've got a couple more left.
So I love it. I love that. That's so much. We appreciate that, your support. Well, I do want to say again, thank you again for joining us live on air. Thanks for being a part of Knox on Tap. Thanks for letting us interview you again.
Yeah.
But above all that, I want to thank you so much for your support with Grayson Subaru. You've been a supporter of this show, of everything that we've done at Knox Brew Tours. You helped make our YouTube channel and podcast possible. Our First Friday loops with Knox Brew Tours. These delivery services we're doing every night for other breweries. You all have made a major impact, and I just want to say thank you and how much we really appreciate you and how much you love Knoxville and how much you love our Knoxville beer community as well.
Well, thank you.
Any final thoughts, Dan, before we kick you off Skype here?
I do want to say that, as I did in the first version that we somehow managed to booger up, that a lot of people don't know how much Zack and Knox Brew Tours have done in the last 2 weeks to 3 weeks. I know that there's been a whole lot less sleep and a whole lot less eating for Zack and for his crew. I definitely wanted to give props to Zack and his people. I know that it's like Candace didn't even really want to, she just wanted to volunteer if she couldn't work. So that's the kind of spirit that Knox Brew Tours has in it. It's not just the owner, though it's a huge part. Zack is definitely the biggest part. But that's the kind of heart that their entire staff has. And I want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts, Knoxville's hearts, for what you've been doing for the last 3 weeks.
Yes.
Thanks, Dan. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. All right, bud. Well, although I could do this all night and would love to, we are live on the radio, so we do got to wrap it up at some point. Again, thank you so much for joining us. And this will be on our YouTube channel tomorrow as well as on our podcast if you want to share this with any of your buddies.
Cool. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank
we'll
you.
talk to you later.
See you.
See ya.